Dear viewers, I have kept you waiting, unfortunately. So there hasn't been many videos in the last few days, simply because on Thursday we had our big karaoke stream, and I, spent a lot of the day just working on other stuff, and then definitely overdid it on the karaoke stream. We went on for like 5 hours. I lost my voice. Well, didn't really lose my voice, but then the next day, after having, quite a good time, I woke up at like really early and had to head out at like 10 a.m. to meet with a friend, and then from like 10 until literally from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. I was just out with people talking, walking nonstop, like just like definitely not the thing you should be doing when you should be recovering after that kind of like super intense night of karaoke. And then yesterday we had the Zero Grand Finals for the Winter Circuit, of course, for the English server, and we ended up commentating that from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. because for whatever ungodly reason they didn't split Swiss day from Top Cut day like every normal tournament does. But alas, I think you get the point. Things have been very busy the last few days, and you can hear by my voice, you can probably tell by my state, I am kind of dead right now. But we got a new Narukami event, so I gotta do, a little coverage, talk about it, because it's pretty special, because of course Vanquisher is already one of the top decks in the meta, but on top of that, they introduced a card that we honestly weren't like expecting to get ever, which is Mr. Cho-Ou. So they basically combined 3 things into this one clan event. We got Vanquisher support, we got Eradicator support, and we got the Tonic support, which is like the manga deck that existed back then, which of course in the V series became one of the main decks for Narukami at the start. So as usual, we're going to talk about the actual clan event, kind of go over the cards, then look at the boost skins, and then take a look at the deck in action against the AI in a fight. So I haven't read the cards yet. These got literally, this whole event got announced while I was just out on Friday, and then it dropped like in the middle of the night while we were commentating the Zero Grand Finals. So let's take a look at the cards, and I want to learn them myself as well. So the VR is Dragonic Vanquisher Voltage. So this card is still used in premium. It's really good. When placed on Vanguard Circle, GP Sun and Blast and gain the following 2 abilities. First, when they attack its a Vanguard, choose an opponent's randomly retire an opponent's rear guard, prioritizing the back row, and then bind 2 from the drop. So it's basically the same as the triple rare stride, but the second skill is of course the reason why I use this card. It says GB3, for every card in your opponent's bind zone, your front row units get plus 2k. Pretty good. It's pretty good. It does make your columns hit for some tremendous numbers. I don't think it's necessarily super great in Zero though, because like the big numbers don't really mean much outside of like, because if this was a first stride, where you could push your opponent from like 2 to 5 with the big numbers, that'd be great. But this is a second stride at earliest, so maybe 2 copies is enough, because I think you still want to run 4 Conquest if you have it from the last clan event. So I'm not too sure. I feel like maybe in the future when we have like 16 G zone, then it'll be better as a 4-of, but for now, I don't know, it's kind of hard to say. Then we have the Finish Blow Dragon, which is the true Eradicator. So GB2 once per turn, count +1 and flip any unit face up, and then for that turn gain the following ability. When your opponent's rear is attacked by your card ability, this unit gets plus 5k and a crit. And then if your heart is a Gauntlet Buster, is this new? Randomly retire when your opponent's rear guards, prioritizing the back row. That's pretty good. Count +1 and G flip something to get that amazing skill and also get a pop, so it immediately gives him a crit. That actually might make Eradicators kind of worth using again, which is pretty hot for sure. So we have 4 total triples, and the other Eradicator support of course is finally Cho-Ou existing in Zero, which is kind of crazy. So Eradicator Cho-Ou says, when placed on a Vanguard or rearguard circle, you can put one of your other Eradicator rearguards to your soul, and then choose one of your opponent's front row rearguards and retire it. It's the original effect. They had to literally wait until almost the middle of G to print Cho-Ou, which was originally printed in the Limit Break era. That's insane, but it's still an amazing card. Like, it's a free retire. What can you ask for? It's a free retire. It's great. So that's pretty good. Let's take a look at the Tonic stuff. So we have the Tonic's Stinger Dragon. This is the break rides. When you ride over it, for that turn, your Vanguard spells and gain the following 2 abilities. When it attacks the Vanguard, you can, if your opponent does not have any front or rear guards, count +1 for that battle. When your opponent would use a Sentinel, they have to randomly discard a grade 3. Okay, so it's basically a glory. So that's not that great for a break ride skill compared to, break rides aren't even used anyway, so like I don't think this will make people start using break rides. Then Vanguard Circle, when placed Soul Blast 2, is this like a random back row priority retire of both players? That's kind of interesting. Yeah, I guess it's kind of interesting. It pops one of your own too, so that's not really great. Let's take a look at the Tonic's Drill Dragon. Of course, this is one of the main VRs for Narukami, the first one I think actually. Limerick 4, when plays combos 2 and retire all players' rear guards. Okay, and then the other skill is during your turn. If your opponent doesn't have any rear guards, get plus 10k. I kind of appreciate them making these triple rares because these are pretty bad and they're very skippable, so you can actually just like trade for 2 of these, trade for maybe 4 of the finish blows. They're pretty, I don't think you need 4, like 2 or 3 is probably enough, and then 4 Cho-Ous. That way you can just ignore the Tonics guys. They are not very good at all. Let's take a look at the other double rares. So we have the Anger Charge Dragon. When placed on rear, if you have 4 less damage, if your Vanguard is an Eradicator, put the top card of your deck into your damage zone. And if that card is an Eradicator, you can randomly retire one of your opponent's back row priority rear guards, and at the end of the turn you heal 1. So it's a self-damager that pop something. I don't remember this existing, but that's actually pretty cool. That was that really a thing? I remember Raiyo. This was like Cho-Ou's, you know, I guess dad, I don't know what to call him. When placed on a Vanguard rear, put a Eradicator rear guard into your soul and then pop your opponent's front row rear guard. So it does the same thing as Cho-Ou, just a grade 3, but doesn't have intercept as a result. Rock Climb Dragoon, which is the main grade 2 support. This was, I think, a triple rare in the TCG. The double rare, so that's pretty good. This is the Amber clone, not the Amber clone, the Glimmer Breath clone for Vanquisher. GB1, when placed on rear, if your Vanguard is a grade 3 or greater Vanquisher, combos 1, soul boss 1, choose, randomly retire one of your opponent's back row priority rear guards, and then randomly bind 1 card from your opponent's drop zone, and then this unit gets plus 2k. Okay, they made it random. That kind of hurts. If it was like you could choose, then it probably would have been triple rare. I guess, don't know if it'll actually get used. Actually kind of hurts. And then we have Eradicator Shubu. So this cannot be retired by your card's abilities. And when it attacks the Vanguard, if your Vanguard is an Eradicator, soul blast 1 for that battle, this unit gains plus 1000 for every open rear guard circle, both yours and your opponent's. So it's a solid attacker, I guess. Again, some pretty weird cards in here. Once per turn, during your main phase, when your opponent's front row rear guard is retired, if your Vanguard is a Eradicator, then you can soul boss 1 to countercharge 1. That's actually pretty good for countercharge, I guess. Then we have this guy, when it attacks the Vanguard, in Vanguard circle, counterblast 1, and for each copy of himself on your rearguard circles, you can randomly retire one of your opponent's rears with back row priority, and then for each of your other nobles, get plus 1k. Okay, it's a noble support. Wow, they're dropping that in here too. Okay, GB1, Thunderstrike 2. So this is the keyword for Narukami that finally drops here too. So you have to have 2 cards in the bind zone or more in order to activate this. Once per turn, combos 1, soul boss 1, gain plus 2k in the following ability. When this unit attacks the Vanguard, it attacks, I think, a rear guard in the same column as well, so the one behind. Interesting, some pretty unique cards in here. Once per turn, when your opponent's rearguard is retired by your card ability, Vanguard is a Eradicator. Both players retire 1 rearguard at random from back row priority. I think, wasn't this guy used in premium Eradicators recently? I feel like it was. Then we have the Hammer Knuckle Dragon, 11k if you are on a Tonics, and of course if you Vanguard Tonics, then this unit cannot be retired by your card effects. So it's another Tonic support, of course. And then we have this lady, Thunderstrike 2, when she boosts, soul blast 1 and gain 3k, and then when the boost attack is a Vanguard, combos 1 and randomly retire back row priority your opponent's rearguard, and then randomly bind 1 card from your opponent's drop zone. So they're all random binds now too, so they definitely are trying to not break Vanquisher, you know, beyond what is necessary. So then this is the crit for Eradicators. So when by a card's ability this unit is retired, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and then add an Eradicator to your hand, and then this card goes back to the deck. Interesting. This is the new starter, so when your Eradicator Vanguard attacks at the end of that battle, if the attack did not hit, counterblast 1, put this to soul, and then choose 2 of your units, give them plus 5k. I guess this is like the Descendant support. They're really supporting like every single archetype possible. It's pretty intense. Then we have this guy, GB1, put into soul, and then randomly bind a card from your opponent's drop zone, and then for that turn, one of your units gets the following ability: Thunderstrike 2, gain 5k. I guess that's more support for Vank. And then we have this, GB1, Thunderstrike 2, for that turn, for every card in your opponent's bind zone gets plus 2k, so it's only on the turn that he's called, so it's not super great. And then Kanto, which is the when your opponent's rearguard is retired by your card ability, Vanguard is an Eradicator, soul blast 1 for that turn. This unit and one of your other units get plus 2k. So honestly, a lot of these cards are pretty mid, I'm gonna be real with you. It's also funny how they they made Cho-Ou into the sleeves for this event. That's kind of funny. That's kind of funny that they went for that. But honestly speaking, like, Voltage is really good. the Eradicators are really good, like the triples. The doubles are okay. Honestly, most of the doubles are pretty mid, and like a lot of the rares and below are also pretty mid. So a lot of the cards are not really that great. I think Vanquisher will continue to be really strong, and Eradicators will get some good support too. Let's take a look at the boost skins. I think this is what most people want to know. So today is Kanzaki, tomorrow, day 2 is Shion, day 3 is Kyo, and day 4 is Mamoru. So of course these repeat on days 5 through 8 as well. So with that, let's go do some fights. I'll go beat up, you know, Vanguard as usual here, and then we'll fight against the actual Vanquisher deck, I'm assuming, to see it in action. All right, let's run it. I'm going to show you some preview for Chaos. I'm going to be doing that deck and fight next. We're going to be kind of like hopping between set 5 and 6, just because I want to kind of like start covering some of the more recent decks too, because I've been just playing them a lot. So the only things left for set 5 for me are Stavas and Blue Waves, because I didn't build Harry, didn't pull enough, so I didn't feel like, you know, spending money to build a deck that I don't really care about. So unfortunate, but it is what it is. So let's take a look at updated Vanquisher, I'm assuming. I wonder if they switch, because like these recent clan events have had a lot of decks mixed in. You know, normally it's like one deck that's like really just dedicated, and then they kind of just like stick with it. But here it's been kind of like a bunch of different ones mixed in lately. Like even the Spikes one, I guess that one was more dedicated, but any like future support, like the OTT part 2 one, was a lot of like just a big mixture of different archetypes. So I feel like this one is too, and I kind of wish the AI would also use other decks too, not just like their main one that the anime character uses. But I guess that's a tall order, I don't know. Anyway, that's right, Zinc. So Chaos has been really fun. I've been enjoying climbing with it here and there when I do play. You know, it's been mostly playing this, learning Time Leap in Zero as well, because it's quite different in terms of especially like starter choice and like a lot of the grade 1-2 lineup as well. Yeah, I'm writing all the vanillas, definitely making my life a little more difficult. So swinging, we get that early rush, early aggro, nice little draw. But yeah, how have you guys been enjoying Zero lately? I know the tournament was pretty hype. Honestly, a lot of really cool games. A lot of it's like similar decks too, that like I didn't really expect to see a lot of like sameness, but we ended up seeing quite a bit of it. So that was also a bit of a surprise. I kind of want to hold this for later. So I think here I'm going to call down the Destiny Guardian, as weird as it looks, just because I do want to push past the 10 there and deal the damage. But for now, I think it's fine. We're not losing any front row anyway, so it should be fine. All right. I think tomorrow I'm also gonna try to get a stream in as well, run some Zero ladder, just kind of have fun with it. Ooh, not even writing Vanquisher, that's unfortunate. Yikes. But yeah, like, it's just kind of weird. Vanquisher now is also like, what are they gonna do with it in the next time it gets a clan event? Because that's gonna be like when Henry takes over as the main character for it. So I guess it'll probably be the same as Kumi, right? Because Kumi kind of just got the second wave. So I guess Henry will be the third wave of Narukami once he's finally introduced. So will be nice to see. Will be nice to see. Ooh, nice old photon top deck. That's good. We like that. Oh, these nice old animations. They're still just as good as the last time I saw them. It's definitely something that I think they really nailed in early Zero, and I find it really confusing why they kind of dropped it. Like all these skill animations, all these like beautiful aesthetic things that Zero had going for itself just kind of poofed for no reason. And I never really get why. It never really made sense. Like, look at that, right? The photon is like poof, like there's technically no reason for them to do that, right? And they definitely took that very literally in the G era, but it was nice that they did it because it felt like they showed love and care for the franchise in a sense. So it's a bit unfortunate that they stopped. I don't know. I think there's a lot left to be desired with Zero these days in terms of, you know, the things they are doing with it and they aren't doing with it. Although the playmats you guys got in Global definitely look nice, so I will commend that. I will commend that. Alright, let's get the bashes, push to 5, see if any new cards even gonna come down. My opponent has their first strike turn here, so let's see what happens. And just pass here. Nice little triangle lock, using very minimal resources as well. It's pretty good. Okay, striding. Probably gonna be going into Zoros here though. Most likely? No, going first, Stride Voltage. I guess you get GB2 immediately, but Vanquisher's Voltage, I mean, Vanquisher's, like, you know, skill isn't exactly insane for the GB2. Alright. Animations look more smooth today though, that's kind of nice. So it's an on-hit to Vanguard, but I guess you activate GB2. But again, it's like, look at all these like nice, like even the attack animations don't look anything fancy. It's a bit of a shame, let's be real. It is a bit of a shame. that things don't look better than they used to. Be like, look at that, you know, these like triple rares all having nice little animations. They really did go out of their way at all times to make things look good, right? So I wonder if we'll ever get back to that. I just wholeheartedly wonder. Alright, Photon is good. I think here we just lock the front row there. And then force the... Again, like that... Why is that a simple lock? You know, why is that just a regular lock? It really shouldn't be. It really shouldn't be, but it is. But it is. Alright, anyway, let's bash. Get those heal guards out of hand. PG's out of hand. Everything looks nice, but Photon, go deliver the final blow. Run it in. So I guess we got this, again, like these fights against the AI don't really show much because like there's not like there's new grade 3s, they're just new strides which don't have animations, just new voice lines, which I guess you heard. So yeah, there you have it. That is the new Narukami event. Honestly, I was a bit more hyped about it when I found out about it, but a lot of the cards like outside of the triple rares don't really seem that good. So I think you can honestly, I don't think you need to spend much to even get 4 GRs in this one because you can skip like 2 of the triples and like skip a lot of the double rares I think too. So definitely feels like a more budget oriented clan event, which I guess has been the best part of these clan events, that they are very friendly to like not having to spend. So that's a big plus for it. But there you have it, guys. Thank you for tuning in to checking out the new Narukami event together. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think of it as well, and you know, just the kind of direction of the game as we usually talk about it as well. I'll have the Chaos Breaker updated deck and fight coming up pretty soon, so you can look forward to that and plenty of other Zero stuff in the coming weeks. And of course, plenty of other interesting TCG information and, you know, just content that I've been working on for a while that I've got planned for you guys too. If you like the video, please give it a like. If you want to show some further support, you can become a channel member or subscribe to me on Twitch, because that actually does a lot to support the content that I do and keep improving it in the future as well. You can also check out my socials on Twitter. I'm also streaming on Twitch, and you can join our Discord as well if you want to interact with me and the community that watch the content. Otherwise, that's going to be it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.